when you first start getting an idea of this long-term vision, it's a little bit fuzzy. As you move closer to it, it gets more clear and more clear until it's your reality. And so when you can picture something and experience something in your mind so clearly that your nervous system can't differentiate between the fact that this is imagined versus a real situation, you're giving your being this practice at your long-term vision.
You're watching Developing Potential with Diana Kulian.
Hi, friend. Welcome back. Today we're talking about the one habit to get everything that you want out of life. And that sounds like a tall order, but you know these people who achieve so many things and time goes by fast. So it's like you graduate from high school and before you know it, it's your 10-year high school reunion and then it's your 20-year high school reunion and these decades fly by. So why is it that some people are able to achieve so many things and really just to grow in life? So in my own life, Bedros and I are coming up on our 20-year wedding anniversary this year, which is wild to think about, that 2 decades have gone by. And when I think back 20 years ago, we were 2 personal trainers working at a big box gym. We were actually in debt. We really didn't even have anything in our name because we owed money. And we were just starting out in life. I had just graduated from college and we were starting. And here we are 2 decades later. And when I look at everything that we've built, from companies to both of us being published, and how you can live in a way where every single year you're taking steps closer to a big vision. And so that's what I want to talk with you about today, is this way of living that pushes you along in life versus having time just go by. And so it's a process. It's a simple process of setting and reaching intentional goals. And when you do this, you create this momentum in your life. And it's not even just about achieving things, because, there are certain things that we all want to achieve in life. We want financial freedom. We want to have security, to know that, we own the house that we live in and that we're set up for the future. We want to make accomplishments in our career that we can look at and be proud of and say, I worked hard and I accomplished that. And we feel a sense of pride, and we see the impact that these achievements have on the people around us, on the world, right? We're there for our families, and we see how the way that we sacrifice and give to our families has an impact on them. But it's not even all about achieving these things. It's about this sense of purpose, this sense of energy, and this sense of hope and excitement for life that you live in when you're working towards a long-term vision with short-term goals. And I realize, I'm very fortunate to be in a relationship for the past 20 years where we're on the same page when it comes to, let's create this long-term vision. Like, we're starting, 20 years ago, we're 2 broke personal trainers. We have these grand ideas of we could start a company and we could own our own home, right? We can have a big piece of land. We can raise our kids with a yard to play in. These big grand ideas that we shared together, and we were able to hold each other accountable with meeting the short-term goals that took us one step closer and another step closer to this big long-term vision. And so that's the first piece towards living in this momentum that really can allow you to achieve anything you want in life. And I really truly mean anything, because given enough time and consistency, show me something that you cannot accomplish. It's this motion that you live in. And so that first step is to start creating this long-term vision. And it doesn't have to be a really clear picture. For me, my long-term vision is it's 2 to 5 years out, and it's a little bit fuzzy because I know the long-term vision gets refined as we get closer to it. But for me right now, I'm in school. I'm working towards my degree in psychology. And when I look at my long-term vision that is like, pinned against the wall that I'm like working towards, I see myself earning my doctorate. I see myself establishing myself in the field of psychology. I see myself writing books in self-development. And it's a ways away from me, right? I have to keep meeting these short-term goals. And so you can look at the next year. So what am I going to achieve in the year 2023 that's going to take me one step closer to that kind of fuzzy long-term goal that I have? And so from there, you can even break it down. I like to do it by quarter. So 12 weeks is a significant enough block of time to achieve something pretty big. And you can break that 12 weeks down into 1 week, right? And then even there, even further, I live my life every single day off of a to-do list. And if you look at my to-do list each day, no one thing on there looks really that huge and significant, but it's when you stack day after day of taking these little tiny micro steps in the direction of your long-term vision that you're then able to look back after 20 years and say, wow, like we don't slow down to look back very often, but when we do, it's like, man, we've accomplished so much of what we originally set out to do. But the crazy thing about a long-term vision is that you're always working towards the next iteration of that long-term vision. And that's where the excitement comes back in. Because if we worked towards our long-term vision and we achieved it, and then we're just sitting around, like what kind of life is that? There's no excitement in that. And that's what happens to a lot of people. They go through school. Okay, I got my degree. They get that job they wanted. Okay, I got my job. And then it's like, well, what's next? And then we can get stagnant. And when we're stagnant and we don't have this vision in front of us to work towards, something that we want to become, this motion of becoming, when that goes away and we just are, we consider ourselves like, I did it, here I am, that's when we can start to feel empty. That's when anxieties and depression comes in, because this system that we are, this, we've got the 3 circuits and the thinking mind. I'm of the opinion that our thinking mind needs a mission. We need a goal that we're working towards in order for us to have this sense of purpose and in order for us to live in the momentum of becoming. And I want you to think about that concept of becoming versus thinking of yourself just as you are today, like this is who I am, kind of going back to like labels, or thinking of yourself more like a rock that just is what it is, versus clay, which is I can become something. We're always in the motion of becoming the next version of ourselves. So I want to read a quote from Maxwell Maltz. So if you don't know Maxwell Maltz, he wrote the book Psycho-Cybernetics, and it is one of my all-time favorite self-development books because in it, he talks about the theater of the mind. And I love this concept of the theater of the mind because it's our imagination, it's our ability to conjure up this long-term vision, this next version of ourselves, right? And he goes into great detail about how to utilize the theater of your mind. And I just picture like an old-time theater with a projector, and I'm sitting in front of the screen, and my long-term vision is up on the screen. And like I said, when you first start getting an idea of this long-term vision, it's a little bit fuzzy. And the work of becoming is, as you move closer to it, it gets more clear and more clear until it's your reality. And so when you can picture something and experience something in your mind so clearly that your nervous system can't differentiate between the fact that this is imagined versus a real situation, you're giving your being this practice at your long-term vision. And so this is a quote from Maxwell Maltz, and he says, "Emptiness is a symptom that you're not living creatively. You either have no goal that is important enough to you, or you're not using your talents and efforts in a striving toward an important goal." And so I think that sense of creativity and that sense of excitement that is in us, we talk about our radiance and how we have this radiance inside of us that's just wanting to burst out, right? It's wanting us to be in a place where we can beam this innate radiance that we have. And so one of the ways to really work towards that next version of yourself, that higher level of yourself where you're thriving more, is to utilize your theater of your mind, where you are projecting this long-term vision up on the screen and you're making it part of who you are. And then getting into the practical aspect of, all right, what goals do I need to achieve this quarter to take me one step closer to achieving that long-term vision? So I want to read another quote, and this is from Napoleon Hill. And Napoleon Hill has some really amazing books out there. And one of my favorites is called Outwitting the Devil. And in it, he has so many great concepts that he talks about. One of it is drifting. And so it's very much like it sounds. If you're drifting along in life, it's like if you throw a stick into a river and it just sort of bobs along and it goes over here and then it goes over there and it's just there, it's aimless. And it's so easy as a human to start drifting through life, right? We've got daily concerns of paying the bills and making sure the kids have food and making sure the kids are doing well in school. And there's so many daily concerns that we can get caught up in that we don't realize that now you're drifting. And that's when a decade can go by and you look back and you say, what have I accomplished? Where did I go? What did I become? Right? And so Napoleon Hill talks about needing this definiteness of purpose. And so when you have very clear purpose and you know what this next version of you is going to look like, or you have somewhat of an idea of the direction that you want to take yourself in this next season of your life, because our life is made up of a series of seasons. We can't stop it. We can't slow down time. Every new season is going to come. How are we going to evolve into that next season and become that higher version of ourselves? So this is from Napoleon Hill. And he says, there's one quality which one must possess to win, and that is definiteness of purpose, the knowledge of what one wants, and a burning desire to possess it. And so he really speaks to, we need to have intention, right? We have this one life to live, and we have so much potential. You feel the potential that you have, and you have the potential to create whatever your big picture vision is, with the knowledge that once you achieve it, that's just one season. There's always going to be that next vision up on your screen, in the theater of your mind. There's that next becoming, and we continue this evolution of the next version of yourself and the next version, and this is growth and this is maturity. And so today I just really wanted to get you thinking about this process of having a long-term vision, setting short-term goals that take you just one step closer. And there's no step that's too small. And if you're sitting there listening to me and you're like, okay, Diana, this makes sense. I get what you're saying, but I have no idea where to start. I just don't know what it's going to look like. I love this question. And I think that's such a great place to be because in my humble opinion, you start with your body, and we talk about the 3 circuits, the physical body, your emotional network, and then your thinking mind. Your thinking mind lights up and thrives with a mission. And when we make that mission, I'm going to get in great shape. I'm going to start a nutrition plan and I'm going to stick with it. And I'm not going to put junk food in my body. I'm going to start hydrating and getting good sleep. And I'm going to follow a fitness plan where I push myself and I start putting on some muscle, developing some strength, really getting my hormonal system into a better place where I'm healthier, where all of my organs are healthier. Starting with your body and feeling good and energized in your body, to me, is the perfect place to start to begin to open yourself to the possibility of your long-term vision. It's infectious when you start to make your physical body healthier, when you stand a little straighter and you have this sense about you that like, I'm taking care of myself and now the possibilities out there are endless. So that's what I want to leave you with. I do have extra credit for you. So if you want to take this concept of creating this long-term vision as a way of life and working towards it with short-term goals, then this week I want you to schedule a time of every month. So every month I want you to schedule a time to review and reset your long-term vision. And I put it on my calendar and I love it. It's the beginning of the month. I sit there and I think about myself in 5 years. And then I look at my month and I look at my weeks and I say, what am I doing? What are the steps that I'm doing to get there? So schedule that time with yourself. Sit down, look at your calendar, spend some time in your theater of the mind and really decide, where am I going to go? What am I going to become? Friends, thank you so much for watching. If you like this content, please subscribe, please share so that we can help others out there like us to just uncover our radiance and live life at a higher level. I will see you next time.
Thanks for watching Developing Potential with Diana Kulian.